In case you're wondering, yes, I am wearing the same thing from yesterday's video because I'm actually shooting these back to back because today's my birthday. So let's answer some questions. What's good, creative fan? Brandon Washington here, and as you guys know, today is my birthday, and that is the whole reason why we're doing this Q&A segment. But as I've been mentioning and hinting at all month, first of all, we are almost done with our month of daily uploads, which is honestly, it's kind of refreshing. I'm excited to not have to keep going to daily. Daily has been a lot, but it has also been a lot of fun. But the other thing is that I am excited to announce that I am officially launching my mentorship program. Now, a mentorship program is something that has been kind of on my radar for a while, and I'm still not 100% sure how I want to get it all set up, but I am now officially accepting mentees, if you will. And so I am going to be launching this via Patreon. So I'll have a link down below to the Patreon site. First of all, if you just want to support the channel and you like what happens here on the YouTube channel, you just want to support, you can definitely go over to the Patreon, become a patron, and start supporting the channel that way. And I really, really appreciate that. But also, you're going to see on there that there is a paid tier that will actually allow you to get into the mentorship program. By paying that monthly mentorship program through the Patreon page, you'll get access to additional videos, weekly or monthly live chats, and more in-depth stuff when it comes to business. Like, you guys have been really loving the Business Monday videos, but with this being YouTube and the content having to be sort of shorter if I want it to do well on the site, well, I want to be able to do more longer form content where I can really get into the weeds. And so I personally think that Patreon is probably the best location for me to be able to do that. On top of that, I'm also going to be now officially allowing you guys to sign up for one-on-one trainings with me where we can hop on a live call and I can walk you through either your business, your camera settings, whatever you want to talk about. We can hop on a call, and that way I can start helping you guys on a FaceTime or video chat type call. So all of that is coming. I'm super excited about it, but you guys asked me a bunch of questions, so let's jump into those. First question comes from Second to None Video Production, and he asks, do you use a follow focus for your Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera? Thinking about getting one and really haven't decided if it's worth it yet. Currently, I do not. If you use cinema lenses, then I do think a follow focus system is definitely the way to go. However, I primarily use photography lenses when it comes to using my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, so there's really no point, in my opinion, to use a follow focus system. Good question, though. Next question comes from Marcus. It says non-camera related question. Appreciate those. How do you spend your downtime? Non-family related. I mean, just you. I don't really have a ton of downtime, especially right now. I run my production business and I do that full time. And then when I'm not working on that, I do spend a lot of time with my family. And then when I have the time, especially a lot here recently, I've been trying to squeeze out as many YouTube videos as I possibly can. I guess the only thing I would say that I really do for fun that's not really related to this is I work out and I like to go camping, and that's actually kind of a new thing. And realistically, the whole reason why now I'm going camping is so that I can start camping to some remote locations and take more photos and do more videos. So I guess it all still kind of revolves around doing video and photo. I really love doing this, so even if I didn't have to do this as a living, I would still pick up a camera probably daily. Next question comes from the DDT Inc. and he says, I see you have a wedding ring on your finger. Are you married? Yes, I am married. I've been married for 7 years. And it's awesome. I love being married. It's, I have a family, got 2 kids. So yeah, I don't really talk about that a lot on this channel because it's more about filmmaking gear and stuff. But yeah, married and got 2 boys. Next question, if you didn't shoot video or photos for a living, what would I be doing? If I didn't so let's say like I couldn't touch a camera for whatever reason, I would probably go into coaching. As I mentioned before, I've got 2 boys and my oldest one plays baseball, and I've been coaching his team since he was like really, really little, playing t-ball. And I love coaching. I love working with the kids. I love helping them get better. I actually never played baseball growing up, but being with my son and teaching him how to play and now coaching him through his journey has been so much fun. So if I had to completely give up, cameras, I would probably become a teacher and coach baseball and work with kids. All right, next question comes from Rob, and it says, what is the worst shot you've ever managed to rescue and use? I don't know if I have a specific shot that I can think of, but I can basically give you this kind of a rule of thumb. If you ever run into an issue where you have a shot and you have to try to save it for whatever reason, basically the way that I always save those shots is with graphics. If I have to use the shot or make the shot work, then I typically just throw some type of animation or graphics on that. That could be text animation. It could be, transition, whatever you call it. Basically just get something on the screen that kind of razzle and dazzles the whole thing. And that's pretty much how I save it. Now, if you have things that are off, like color balance, or, like something's completely out of focus, those are going to be really hard to bring back, which is why it's important to really understand your camera. But if you absolutely have a shot that you need, or you need to fill some time in your edit, always go to graphics. It pretty much helps me out all the time. Next question comes from Kevin, and it says, what are your 2020 goals at this time as far as client work versus more content BTS tutorials for YouTube? Looking to deleverage a bit of client work, focus on bigger projects, or try to scale both clients and YouTube pretty equally. So I'll tell you, trying to balance client work and YouTube and grow them both at the same time is probably one of the hardest things, and one of the things I really still haven't figured out. Typically, whenever I go double down into YouTube grows, but then my client work kind of slows down. Or if I double down into client work, then that grows, and then YouTube kind of doles out. Now, at this time of year, during November, December, client work tends to slow down naturally, which is why you guys have seen that I've been able to put way more energy into YouTube. But I will say that if it was completely up to me, I would love to just focus on YouTube. And I'm trying to figure out how to make that a more viable solution, because I love helping you guys. I love teaching. I love creating these videos that help you guys to get better and to create more content yourselves. So if there was a way for me to just do YouTube full time, that's definitely the way I would want to go. But as of right now, I just kind of balance them as they come, but trying to get as much YouTube out as I possibly can. Next question is going to come from Siobhan Smith, and he says, how do you make photography into a career if you're in high school? So for this one, I really thought about this question. When I first saw it, I was like, man, that's a really good question. If I was in high school, how would I make a career out of it? And honestly, I don't think I would really do anything differently. The only thing I would probably change as far as like my pitch goes is I would never really divulge who I was or my age. And I know that sounds kind of odd, but the reason why is because if your work is good, people will hire you based on your work. But people will judge you based on your age. And so if you come across as a high school kid, people will just naturally think that you're inexperienced. But if your work is really good, sometimes they can be clouded by, judging you based on your age. So on my website, I probably wouldn't say anything that had to do with like my age or how long I have been doing photography. I would just make sure that I'm putting out the best work I possibly can. From there, just doing everything that you normally would, shoot work that you want to make a career out of, and then pitch that via emails or cold calls or DMs to companies that you want to work for. Or if it's like shooting weddings, and just put your work out there for those brides. But I just would never start the conversation with how old you were or where you were in life, just because unfortunately there's a lot of judgmental people out there. All right, next question comes from AV, and he says, when will you be organizing a meetup for the Houston film creatives? So this is something I've been wanting to do for the longest time. Last year in January, I did a creative fan meetup, and it was supposed to be video based with some photography, and it pretty much turned into almost all photography. And that's just because that's the type of community we have here in Houston. I'm not really sure how to handle these type of meetups on my own. So if you guys have any input or how I should do this, I would love to get some feedback from you guys. But for me, I find it really hard to put on these type of events, and I don't really know exactly how to structure them. And I'm not the type of person that just like half does anything. So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try to do it as well as I possibly can. And as of right now, I haven't figured out that solution just yet. All right, next question comes from Smart Shot, and he says, happy birthday in advance. I appreciate that. Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, and 20 years? Oh, man. 5, 10, and 20 years. That 20 years just sounds stressful to think about. 5 years from now, I'm trying to think, where will my kids be in 5 years from now? 5 years from now, I don't really see myself being too drastically different. Hopefully by then I will have, shot a couple short films. I mean, that is one of the big goals that I have for myself in 2020, and to really be moving more into narrative work. 10 years from now, I don't know. I don't know about 10 years. I can't say in 20 years. So in 20 years from now, both of my kids will be gone. We're not planning on having any more. So in 20 years from now, I really see myself me and my wife just traveling a lot and filming even more. That's really hard to do with kids. But this is something that me and my wife have talked about. And, right now we're focused on the children. But I want to get into some crazy travels and film. And maybe that'll come in 10 years when my kids are a little older and it's easier to travel with them. But that's kind of the plan, I would say, is that, I really just want to get out there and film newer things, not just the stuff in my sphere and in my bubble. I really want to get out and explore and travel and shoot new stuff. Next question comes from Nesquick Visuals, and he says, how do you organize your life so that you have time for family, your business, and YouTube all at once? So for me, the biggest thing is to, I just heard this analogy, and the idea is it's like you're juggling, right? And you're juggling different balls, and some balls are made out of plastic and some balls are made out of glass. And the way I look at it is like my family ball is made out of glass. You don't drop that one, right? So if you're juggling, you tend to drop one here or there, but you make sure that the ones that are made out of glass, you never drop. And that's family for me. Family comes first above everything, above work, production, YouTube, everything. Family comes first. But at the same time, you do have, a ball like YouTube, which is actually kind of made out of plastic. If I'm unable to upload, or if I'm unable to really, give YouTube my all for a period of time, I drop it, but it's okay because it's made out of plastic. I can pick it back up and throw it right back into rotation. For me, it's all about just scheduling out everything. My schedule is my life. And so I schedule out time to spend with the kids, schedule out time to spend with my wife. I do all these things in order to make sure that I'm keeping my work life and family balance as I can be, but I also don't hold myself to a crazy high standard. Know that it's okay if you don't if you don't spend as much time with your family this week, as long as you acknowledge and you can see that that's an issue, and you're like, oh, I didn't get a chance to spend as much time with my family this week. Let me make sure I make that more of a priority the following week. Then I think you'll be okay. Don't judge yourself on a day-to-day basis. Really kind of look at it on the bigger front, like, how did I do this month? How did I do this quarter? And that should really, really help you, because if you judge yourself on a day-to-day, you're going to have a lot of harder days to get over. And then last question is going to come from Sky Knox, and she says, happy birthday. She appreciate it. What is your dream job as a filmmaker? So I think my dream job as a filmmaker today, because I feel like as filmmakers we should grow and this should change over time. But I think right now my dream job would be to direct some type of narrative film. I love this YouTube channel and I love teaching you guys different things. But I feel like, for me specifically, I really want to get into narrative film, shooting commercial work and doing videos for clients and things like that. I've been doing that for a couple years now, and I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on how to do that. But for me right now, I really want to get into some more narrative or even documentary style films. Just creating longer form content that people are interested in, whether that's a documentary, a docu-series, a television show, a movie, a short film. I'm not really sure exactly what medium I fall into just yet, but I definitely could see myself shooting some more longer form content, things, telling a story that I'm really interested in. And, this YouTube thing is pretty cool, like the 10-minute style videos, but I really want to get into some more story-driven stuff that is a little bit longer and that maybe is told over consecutive stories. Who knows? But that's kind of where I think I see myself right now. But there you have it, guys. I think I answered just about every question that was in here. Some of the questions were repeated twice, so that's why you maybe didn't see your question answered there. But anytime I do these Q&As, I try my best to answer every single question that's down there in the comments. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to know. Leave those in the comments. I'll try my best to answer those in the comments themselves. I probably won't do another designated video. But I hope you guys have a really good Thanksgiving. If you guys didn't see yesterday's video, I talked about a couple different cameras you should definitely pick up for Black Friday. Links to that will be somewhere. And then I'll also have links to the gear that I recommended down below in the description as well. Safe shopping, eat good food, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.